What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Deville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Oleksandr Usyk, Daniel Dubois. As promised, this is the fight prediction and keys of victory on the rematch between the two champions. And here we go with the classic, the iconic tale of the tape. That is correct. 23 wins from Oleksandr Usyk compared to the 22 wins of Daniel Dubois. No losses for Usyk, no draws for Usyk compared to the 2 losses of Dubois. He has no draws. 23 total bouts for Oleksandr Usyk compared to the 24 bouts for Daniel Dubois. 61% KO percentage versus the 88% KO percentage from Daniel Dubois. 6'3" for Usyk, 6'5" for Daniel Dubois, 78-inch reach for both fighters. Oleksandr Usyk being a southpaw versus the orthodox stance of Daniel Dubois. The nationality of Usyk is from Kiev, Ukraine. He is Ukrainian versus the British from Greenwich, London, United Kingdom. January 17th, 1987 for Oleksandr Usyk versus 1997 for Daniel Dubois in September on the 6th. So there is definitely an age gap there. And let me counterpunch. You know, I've been pondering on this particular fight prediction. I saw both fighters. I saw the AJ fight. I saw the Tyson Fury rematch. I saw the first Tyson Fury fight what Usyk was in. Usyk still has speed as far as we know. I think it's safe to say for both fighters, for any fighters, we only can go upon what we've seen lately. Okay, that's only fair. That's only logical, right? So, they both looked very good in their fights. Daniel Dubois looked especially good because of the performance. You know, he knocked out Anthony Joshua in 5 rounds. Nobody saw that coming. So I think people tend to gravitate towards the KO artist in that regard. You know what I mean? I think if anything, Daniel Dubois is known as the reputation because he stopped 3 people for being that knockout guy. The Triple D title is back. So he went from Triple D to Triple D. Whereas Oleksandr Usyk has just been holding his own since forever. Okay, he's just been doing the same thing. You know, people have questioned if Oleksandr Usyk is actually declining. And I have to say, yes, he is declining. Okay, and a lot of people will be upset when they hear it, but this is my opinion. I think Oleksandr Usyk is declining. However, how much is he declining? I don't think he's declining to the point where he's losing or he's incapable, okay, physically. I think it's just physical because he's just getting older. He's just not as sharp as he was in 2021. You know what I mean? I think Usyk was a lot faster then. You know what I mean? Not a lot faster. He was just sharper. He was faster. But again, Usyk, I think, is still able with the ability that he still has to get the job done of whoever's in front of him. Now, a lot of people have questioned Daniel Dubois, like, hey, he's a different animal. He's a different beast right now. He was a boy back then. He's a man now. And I think that's all well and good. But the only question that I ask people is what they're not asking. You know, has Daniel Dubois changed as a person? Well, let's hope so. Let's hope he's changed as a person, because if not, he's going to get in there with the devil that he knows, and he knows the devil that he knows. If you press his hand, he will change stances on you. He will press the gas, and he will start to attack. He's not a guy that dances around the ring and tries to beat you with a jab. No, he beats you with aggression. He attacks you and pressures you with pivots and combinations from angles that you don't see. And I think that always will bother Danny Dubois. I don't give a shit who you are. So I think the question is, has Oleksandr Usyk changed to the degree of him losing to Danny Dubois? So the questions you ask yourself, who has changed? Have Oleksandr Usyk changed that much or declined that much to give an edge to Danny Dubois? Maybe. Just maybe. But then again, like, Oleksandr Usyk is a guy that he's always going to be able to fight a certain way. You know what I mean? As of what we've witnessed, right? Versus Danny Dubois, he's this guy that has vowed to attack. And we've heard him say that before, but maybe this time he may actually do it. And if he does fight him, he's better off on a KO outcome than he would be trying to outbox him. Okay? We know who's the better boxer. Usyk's the better boxer. Dubois is not. Dubois is known for what he's known for. Triple D, Dynamite. Daniel Dynamite Dubois. He needs to throw those bows. Keys of victory for him. Go to the body often. Try to aim for the rib cage. Okay? Not the belt line. Because it's always going to be contingent on how and where it landed. So we don't want that to be a factor, because that was the factor in the first fight. And Danny Dubois, I think, has felt he's been cheated. Now, this is where it gets interesting with Danny Dubois. If Danny Dubois thinks that he got cheated, and I know that Don Charles is drilling that into him. They cheated you before, Daniel. Don't let them do it again. Go to the body. Hurt him. He is a Pillsbury Doughboy in there. Hurt him. He is a liar. Hurt him to the body, son. Hurt. Right? Right? He's going to drill that into him. That idea, that ideology that, hey, you were cheated. You was cheated because you were in little Ukraine, Poland, because there's a lot of Ukrainians in Poland. So guess what? He had home team advantage, okay? It's like the Miami is for the Cubans, right? So he had home team advantage, and he had that concession. He had that protection. That's going to be drilled into Danny Dubois. And if he feels like he was wronged, he will fight harder. I think Danny Dubois is one of those guys where you tell him to do something, but it's how you tell him to do it. He's going to do it how you told him to do it. Okay? He's like Danny the dog, right? He's going to go get him, and Danny will go get you and go beat the brakes off of you. The only question is, can he do it with someone with the savvy of Oleksandr Usyk that will give him problems, that won't make it easy for him to do exactly what he's told to do? But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting fight, because we get to see if Daniel, those skeletons, you know, those worries, that fear of getting pressured, is that still there? We're going to find that out. So this is a fight of reckoning, because everybody and everybody's claims of Daniel's, you know, changed, and he's now a whole different beast. He gets an opportunity to prove it. And he's going to have to prove it. Going to the body, cutting off the ring. If Oleksandr Usyk is doing his thing, if he's boxing and, you know, landing and giving him those feints, you know, he has to not fall for them. He has to go for that body. If I was Danny Dubois, if I was Don Charles, if I was Stan Dubois, I would watch the first Derek Chisora fight. Because there was no quicker Usyk than that fight, because he was lighter. A lot of people talk about his size, because he wasn't a heavyweight, right? But he was quick. So if you gauge anything in the Chisora Usyk fight, you would gauge the speed, okay? But you would also gauge the tactics that Derek Chisora did. Derek Chisora was able to grab him, ravage him, rough him up, you know, hit and hold him at times, punching in the clinch, You got to fight dirty with Usyk in order to score with Usyk, to get Usyk's attention. Now, that may piss him off, and you'll see another Usyk, but all in all, you're still scoring, so you're still in the game. Okay, so that's what people need to understand about that. And on top of where will they be fighting? Where was Derek Chisora and Usyk fighting? They were fighting in the UK. Well, guess where they're fighting? They're fighting in Wembley. So they're in the UK. So Daniel may have a chance to do those things, the same concessions or the same tactics where Derek Chisora was able to do. Okay, so if he's able to do those things, grab him, bah, 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 grab him behind the bed, whack him to the body, hit him in the shoulders, punch him in the chest, go upside his head with a temple shot. You know what I mean? If he's able to do those things, he can be victorious with the punching power he has. Now, Oleksandr Usyk is tough, but guess what? Toughness, only goes along and only goes so far. Okay? Ask Joe Joyce, ask Julio Cesar Chavez, ask these guys that had these chins that eventually got them cracked. Okay, so it's a very interesting fight when it comes to that. Now, on Usyk just has to do what Usyk's always done. You know what I mean? And it's all about what Daniel can do, not what really Usyk can do. Because Usyk's never changed his ability to win. So it's not really, the pressure is not on Usyk. The only thing you question is, will Usyk lose enough steps to give Daniel Dubois the opportunity to do what he's promising everybody he can do? That's all it really means. You know what I mean? Has he arrived? Is it his time? But most importantly, Daniel Dubois believes it's his time.
Are you going to take? Are you going to take?
He believes he was cheated, and I think he will fight harder. And if this fight goes down to the wire, I think about fights like Usyk Joshua 2, where Joshua did a lot better because he was going to the body. Well, if Daniel Dubois can start that early, and he's younger and fresher and about the same size, a little bigger than Derek Chisora maybe, right? And he's able to rough up Oleksandr Usyk, an older Usyk, an Usyk that is not accustomed to getting roughed up at that age. He may, just may, come out victorious, okay? But I think he has to get some knockdowns or some knockouts because, again, we get to see when Usyk opens up, when Usyk starts going into hyper mode and starts throwing those shots in those angles, and we can see how Daniel Dubois will take those shots. That's going to be where the fight begins. But you guys tell me what you think of this breakdown. The final prediction, people. Oleksandr Usyk always by decision, or making Daniel quit like he did the first time, or Daniel Dubois beats him by stopping him, hurting him massively, knocking him out, stopping him. That's how it's going to go. Daniel Dubois by KO, Oleksandr Usyk by decision, or making him quit. But you guys tell me what you think about this breakdown. Fight prediction, keys of victory between Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois. 2 times. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.